Nicolaj Arcel. Does he have a phonetic spelling? Nicolaj Arcel. Pronunciation. There's a YouTube video.
Nicola Arkel. Nicola Arkel. Nicola Arkel. Nicola Arkel.
Alright, well, if that's wrong, it's the fucking YouTube video's fault. Nicola Arkel. Okay. The Dark Tower is based on the same... Oh, I fucked that up. The Dark Tower is based on the Stephen King novel of the same name and is the newest in the lineup of Stephen King novel adaptations. It's directed by Nicola Arkel and stars the likes of some kid, I think it's like Tom Taylor or some bullshit, Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. So, this movie is getting just steam-piled. People hate this movie. Like, every review I've pretty much seen is bad. And so I was going into this movie not having liked the trailers, thinking the hour-and-a-half runtime was not a good sign, and I was like, alright, time to see another bad movie after seeing a great one yesterday.
Welcome to the world inside your phone. That's my home. Text on us.
No, this one... Here's the deal. It's not that bad. It's really not. It's fine. It's fine. That's, if I had to sum it up, I would say those two words. It's fine. It's not that bad, but it's not good. It's fine. I was entertained for an hour and a half. I really was. And there are tons of problems with this movie that stood out to me. Tons that I noticed. But as a whole, I was entertained. I sat in a movie theater for an hour and a half. I wasn't upset. I wasn't thrilled. I just sat there and watched. And that's not what movies are made for, but that wouldn't lead me to call it a disaster. People are calling this movie a disaster. It's not a disaster. It's mediocre. It's very mediocre. It's one of the more mediocre feelings I've ever had leaving a movie. I walked out of the theater and just didn't really feel anything. It was almost like I hadn't watched anything, because I had no feelings inside me whatsoever. I was just like, yeah, I just watched a movie.
I'm a meh, so I gotta be totally over it all the time, you know, like, meh, who cares?
Great. There are things I liked about this movie. Things that have potential in this movie, but are never carried through because of the team behind this thing. There are things I don't like about this movie. There are plenty of them. In terms of things I like or things that had potential, some of the action sequences are well done. They're kind of intense. They're interestingly shot. There's something new that they're kind of trying to do with it, I guess, a little bit, sort of, kind of, maybe a little bit, that they're sort of experimenting with in terms of, like, Idris Elba and when he's killing people. I enjoyed the way they tried to do that. They show it in the trailer, so, you know, if you've seen it already, but it's still cool. It's still interesting. It's still, in a way, an experimental way to shoot action, and I thought it was interesting, but there wasn't enough of it anywhere. I'll get into that in a little bit. The Man in Black, Matthew McConaughey's character, has a lot of promise that is never carried through ever. It reminded me of a shittier version of Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. That show is in no way, would I call it, really good. Daredevil passes that by leaps and bounds. It's a very kind of show, but every time Kilgrave is on screen, it's great. It's gripping, it's intense, and I love it. And that's because of two things. One, that character is well written, and that character has clever dialogue and actual motivation and development behind him. Two, it's because there is a great performance from David Tennant playing that character. He completely melts himself into that character. Matthew McConaughey's Man in Black has one of those two things. It has the good performance. McConaughey is good as the Man in Black. He portrays him well. He's menacing. He's kind of scary in that quiet sense of the way. He's pretty good at doing that. However, he's given nothing to work with. His dialogue is cheesy and ridiculous and bad and really kind of sad to listen to. It's like, you really wrote that and was like, that's gonna be good. He's got a couple of really good moments. There's one scene in particular with him that I really enjoyed, actually. I thought was really well done. But, like, as a whole, his character just sort of fell flat. Which is sort of what I'm talking about here with this movie, in that it really has the potential to work. If it had a good team of screenwriters, I think you'd actually really see something good out of this movie. I didn't necessarily have a problem with the direction so much as I had a problem with the writing of this movie, because it's just so generic. Everything about this movie is been there, done that, seen it, move on. The entire structure of the movie almost follows this basic action movie template. This happens here, then this, then this, then this. There is no kind of, we're going to try and go outside of this, or we're going to try and shield the fact that we're using a template. It's scene by scene, basic filmmaking. It's screenwriting 101. It's like these guys came out of a screenwriting class and we're like, all right, we know what we're going to do. We're going to make this thing. And I don't necessarily have a problem with all of the dialogue, despite some really cheesy and, like, bad lines. Like, the dialogue for me was fine. It was just the structure of this movie and the scene by scene and how everything progressed. Because not only is that poorly done, but there is no setup or development to really anything in this movie. And even when they try and have setup or, you know, try and develop characters, it's just generic movie shit. The kid in this movie, his dad's dead at the beginning. His dad was a firefighter who went in to save the people in the building, and his stepdad's an asshole, and he doesn't like him, and he just wants him to go away to this fucking school or whatever. And it's just so generic. They show that his dad is dead, there's like an earthquake, and the picture falls over, and he picks it up, and he puts it on his fucking table, and he looks at it, it's the picture of him and his dad, and you're supposed to feel sad, and aw, his kid has a character. No, he fucking doesn't. Because they never exploit it or do anything with that. If they had done something really interesting with it, okay, then you've got something. But they never do. And then there's the fucking scene where he's in the woods, and the thing is disguised as his dad, and the dad is like, come with me, son. We'll go back wherever. And you're like, I know exactly how this scene is gonna go. It just, the movie plays out exactly how you'd expect it to. And not only is there no development, it's no shit this movie's an hour and a half long. Because, and truthfully, I have no idea why they did that. They have 30 minutes, at least, in this movie to do more with it. To go into more character backstory. To do a little more with it. Idris Elba's got like one scene of backstory. Matthew McConaughey's got jack shit. And this little kid's got a little bit of backstory. And it's all straightforward and generic. If they had just gone in and tampered with it and made it interesting, made it any kind of original, you might actually have a good movie on your hands. But they don't. Everything is just basic, borderline, whatever. It's like this movie was made for no reason. I don't know why it was made. I don't get it. Because people that read the book are complaining. I didn't read the book. I don't care about the book. If I see one comment about the book, I don't care about the fucking book. I didn't read it. I don't plan on reading it. Okay? Stephen King's a good writer. I'm sure the book's really good. This movie's not that good. I don't know. I can't grasp why this thing was made if there was never any kind of, we're gonna try and do something interesting with it. It's just basic. Most Stephen King adaptations take ballsy approaches or do something interesting with their adaptations. The original It, I can't speak for the new It yet. The Shining, even the remake of The Mist, they all have something interesting about them. This one doesn't. It's just a bland movie. And again, you'll find yourself entertained for an hour and a half. I did, but that doesn't mean I liked it. I didn't really like it, but I didn't dislike it. I didn't hate it. It's just bleh. That's how I walked out of this thing feeling. I was like, bleh, bleh. That's it. That's all I got for you. That's how I felt. Idris Elba was okay. He had one, like, moment where I was like, that's bad. That was a bad moment. But, you know, we all have that, I guess. So, overall, I wouldn't really recommend this movie. There are better movies in theaters right now. There's Detroit. There's Dunkirk. There's Spider-Man. Baby Driver's still out. Go see that, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't see this. I don't think it's worth your time or your money. I think there are better things to be doing, better things to watch, better things to see. This is a pretty slow weekend, so if you haven't seen any of the other movies that have come out, I would recommend getting out to the theater and checking some of those out, because they're pretty good. So, what did you guys think? Have you seen The Dark Tower? Have you not seen The Dark Tower? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.